guess YouTube says that I'm doing something. So I'm just gonna keep on building my Mitsuko a little bit. This little guy. It's a 140 motor to motor, 140 millimeters. Man, it is tiny, and it's gonna be a little ripper. It's I've got the RCX 2205 2633 kV motors, little B ESCs. I got them all wired up. So last time in my really long, like 2-hour video, I did that. So I've got my little wraparound ESC bundle right up close to my motors. Hopefully my camera's better this time. My Oso Mini PDB with it's got a 9-volt Pololu on there, and it's been the frame's been hydro dipped. It's pretty cool looking. So now what I need to do is work on the frame. Looks like that, obviously, and this can set on top of it, like so. I can, could face any direction. It's a plus-oriented quad. So I have glued the hs1177 into this carbon piece here. Trying to make it some surface area so it'll freaking focus. So I've glued it in there. The Shen guys recommended something called foam tack. I'm pretty sure I found the same thing at the hobby shop. They said it works better than using CA super glue because it still provides a tiny bit of flex. It's not as brittle. So I glued that in there, and then it's basically just slide the carbon pieces together. Slide those carbon fiber pieces together, and kind of insert them into those notches, and then screw in these side bolts so that the vertical pieces get held to the kind of the top plate of the quad. So where I'm at right now is I was looking at what needs to plug into the camera. I've got a few comments here. Nice comments, Boba Fett. You have been drinking. It's obvious. So if I plug the little, damn, it's hard to get in there. If I plug this little bastard in here, so the wires are in the camera, and then we take the little, what is the FX 799. If you mount that in like the only place it can go, and then you look at its wiring harness. Hang on, I'll show you in a sec. What I have to do is the power is going to go down to the PDB, but these wires are going to go up. I'll get a better angle on this in a sec. Hang on. These little, if I can get them to stay together, give them a little twist here for a second. So these wires are going to come up, and obviously I just need to solder those together. Solder those together down from the camera to the video transmitter, and I'm trying to make a nice little bundle so it'll just all stay right up in here real tight. And I'll probably attach it to maybe the side mount point there in the frame. There's some little cutouts for mounts and stuff. So I just need to start soldering that together. That's what I'm gonna do tonight real quick. I don't have a ton of time, like maybe half an hour or something before I gotta go do some stuff. I'm trying to think, maybe I should move the camera, this camera that I'm streaming with, to a not so tight of an angle, but there, maybe that'll be better. So for the most part, power from the power distribution board is going to go into the video transmitter, and then the video transmitter has power out, which is the brown and the red here. That's going to go to the hs1177 camera. One little trick, this is going to be really hard to see. I don't know if you guys can look on the bottom right of the of that FX799, the very lower right, there is a capacitor that you can move up or down. I think the default is the up position. That's a 5-volt output, and if you move it to the bottom, it's going to output whatever the input voltage is to the video transmitter. So yeah, so this is the one with the built-in 90-degree SMA from FPV Ninjas, and it's pretty much the only way you can get it to fit into this upper area. So with that 90-degree one. So for the most part, I just need to, I'm going to strip these wires here. They're pretty small, so I'm just using my teeth. And then spit the plastic all over the floor so my wife will yell at me later. Put it in my little helping hands here. Maybe I can get it in the shot. I'm just going to tin these wires. Nice wet sponge. Clean off your tip. It's going to really help if you turn your soldering iron on. It gets hotter that way. We've been married 8 years. That's right. Sweet. Soldering iron's hot. You can hear it sizzling on the old sponge. So nice clean solder tip. Shit, sorry guys. Only takes just a second to get those all hot. Then I'm going to do the other side. The other 3 wires. And these aren't silicone wires either, so if you dick around for too long and leave the heat on for too long, the casing of the wire just keeps getting back and just keeps melting back and back and back. It starts to suck pretty quick. I need to get little baby heat shrink on each of those. So I'm going to cut 3 pieces and put it on right now before I forget, because I always forget to put heat shrink on. Hopefully this is man, okay, I'm gonna move the camera. I should move the camera, right? Because you guys can't see. I can move it up. Alright, this might be really noisy. Hang on. There we go. So I got the heat shrink on each of those. They're all tinned. Pretty clean tip. You just touch them together. Melty, melty, melty. You can kind of roll them to make sure that the solder's melted all the way through. Give them a nice tug. Sweet. All those look completely melty. Slide the heat shrink up because I have a new toy. Make sure it's centered roughly. I have a brand new heat gun. That's right, my very own cheap ass heat gun. Let's try it out on low. Let's try low. Let's try high. Hot. Holy. Alright, it gets super hot. And it melts heat shrink, so I think it was successful. Darn it. You wanna know what's funny is I forgot to put I had another piece of heat shrink that I was gonna put around all 3 of those that I totally forgot. Whatever. Story of my life. So I'm gonna give these a little twist. So they look, it'll shorten up a little bit, and it'll look cool. Hopefully, you know, it'll look like a little factory job, maybe. Who the hell knows? You should get a heat gun, Paul. You need that heat gun. Alright. So, if I need to find a little, the Shen Drones guys recommended a little rubber O-ring to kind of fill in the gap, but for now all they have is this, what was an extension nut. So it's just a regular old nut, just gonna hold it in place. Oh, that's not a bad idea. No, it looks pretty good like that. I'm not too worried about it. That's a fine looking cable. Look at that beast. Yeah. I'm not too concerned. It's gonna look better than a lot of others builds out there, so let it work. So I'm gonna put the power and the input to the video transmitter in there. I'm gonna run it up through. I'm gonna kind of pull it like that. Get some little, yeah, the dip came out really good. But you may have noticed that I have to mount this video transmitter diagonally. There is a little notch for this thing to fit, that it would fit straight, but the guy dipped the wrong side of this top plate. It's kind of a bummer. He said I could send it back to him, but it'll work pretty well like this, actually, to be honest. Because when you look at it on the frame, like this power coming out in the corner actually is gonna let me come right down one of the arms, one of the standoffs, which are pink right now. I'm probably gonna change that. Versus if it were straight, it'd be coming out right in the middle, like where the props would be at. So I think it's fine diagonal. He said I could send it back, so I'm gonna try it out, maybe ship it back, but I mean it would be like another couple weeks without missing the top plate. Yeah, we'll see. All right, so I've got it connected to my video transmitter. I'm going to connect it up to my camera. But while I'm doing it, I'm going to try to add in a couple extra twists. Might be hard to see, but I'm actually continuing to twist the wire, so it's actually going to coil itself up down under there, and hopefully keep itself out of the way, and I won't have to zip tie it or anything. There we go. Got her plugged in. And it did. It coiled itself right up. I'm going to use my little, some sort of poker thing. Kind of get the wire laying, hopefully in a little bit better spot, kind of where I want it. There, sweet. Doesn't look too bad. It's about as tight as I can get the wires. Pretty clean. And then these will run down, and I'll plug them. I'll just solder these directly to the PDB. Once my stupid flight controller gets here, I'll be able to reach right in, get to the channel changer. I can still see the what channel it's on, all that sort of stuff. Dude, you should dip it. If you don't want to do it yourself, the guy actually did a really good job. He's on Instagram. You should follow him because he's one of the Shen Drones guys. He's Lucky Legacy 13, I think is his username. So he sands it. All these edges are sanded. The surface is sanded, and then he primes it. Then he dips it. Then he clear coats it. Yeah, don't fill in your channel changer with CA, because anybody who does that is kind of an idiot. But boom. But yeah, so I got that. This is pretty much ready to rock and roll. You know, my antenna should be here in a day or two, but if this were the antenna, I got the IB Crazy, whatever that new little one is that's like this tall. So it should look pretty good. So it should be pretty cool. It's gonna be up there. That race spec, that's what it was. Right on. And then the last thing that I have time for tonight is I have my X4R all stripped down. I have the 4 wires coming off of it, ground, the 5-volt input, the S-bus signal, and then kind of a little hack you can do is instead of having to run one of those little JST-Zs or whatever they are, whatever those little things are, you can run, I think I can get this on the camera. So instead of having to run out the front, you can run it out the back and actually just tack it to focus. Oh, seriously, man. Alright. I need to just like manually focus this thing or something. Come on, hands. Work with me here. Anyway, maybe you guys can see that. You can tack it to the back edge of that JST connector. So it's pretty tough to reach in there. You're gonna need a pretty small solder tip. But once you got it tacked in there, I mean these in particular don't have that much strain on it. Anyway, so that pin is the telemetry output pin. And I'm actually gonna grab my 5-inch Alien and double check that I have. Yeah, it's the furthest most pin that way is the telemetry input smart port back into the X4R. So I did that last time. What I need to do now is try to figure out, have you guys ever used this extreme tape? I got some of this stuff in clear, and I'm gonna try to figure out how the hell to use it. Apparently it's stretchy and it only sticks to itself. Seems pretty cool. And it smells like mint. That's pretty strange. So I'm gonna cut a little bit of that off. And so people are starting to use this instead of using heat shrink on things like these receivers, because I don't have a piece of heat shrink that's large enough to go over this X4R. So what I'm gonna do is what I might do, start on the bottom and do, and it's stretchy, so the more you stretch, the I don't know, the tighter it gets, I guess. So I'm gonna stretch this. Oh wow, it really does only stick to itself. That stuff's pretty cool, man. You guys need to get some. So what I was going to do is, instead of having these sticking straight up, I was thinking maybe I'd give them a little strain relief. Give them a little strain relief by moving them, by taking them sideways. Wow, this stuff's pretty great. And then really tighten this up here. So I guess over time, the longer you leave this tape sticking to itself, it'll permanently adhere. Like you can put this stuff on you can put this stuff on like leaky pipes and stuff, and if you stretch it real tight, it'll completely seal up like a leaky water pipe. Extreme tape, like with an XT something something. And then I'm just going to cut around a little bit for the antenna, the antenna mount. Yeah, they have it on Amazon. It's like I think this roll, 10 foot of it, inch wide, was $6 or something. And they have it in black too. And one thing to check out is this one was triangular shaped, so it's got like a little bit of a ridge. I don't know if you guys could see that. It's got a tiny bit of a ridge in the center, so it's made for like overwrapping onto pipes or something. So I mean, it's pretty stuck. See if I can peel it back. Wow, okay. Nope, I just ruined it. It stuck to itself so strong already, it would rather rip than come apart at the joint where they were touching each other. So I have to redo it. I guess I'll cut it out. Give me a little practice anyway. Crazy. Yeah, it seems pretty good. It's really stretchy. I probably won't cut off quite as much. And I guess you can, I mean, I have this piece here. You can just tack it on and start going. You know, you don't have to have all one piece. You can put 2 or 3 pieces together if you need to kind of kludge one together, because it only sticks to itself. Like it's not. It feels like a piece of rubber. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, I was just reading about it on somewhere. RC groups or something, or the Shen Drone guys recommend it. That was it. So I'm gonna try this again. Stretch it up tight. And I'm gonna pull my wires to the side. I think that's gonna work pretty well. I'm going to pull it as tight as I can get it across there. And then give it a solid wrap around the end. Bam. Yeah, man, this is looking awesome. And then just lay it on the back side. wires. So I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna sandwich this, I think like the Shen Drone guys. Shen guys kind of had it. They had their receiver sandwiched in between the power distribution board and the flight controller. So I might do that, or I'll just put the flight controller and set this on top. Either way, same difference really. But having these wires come out the side like that, that'll work well. And I've got the long one here. The long one's my telemetry one, and the other three are the regular kind of S-bus, so I'll be able to tell them apart. Alright, let me try this again. Cut back for the antenna to mount up. Yeah, this stuff smells really good too. It's pretty strange. It's minty. I don't know if you guys are into guns, but there's a lube called Frog Lube that it works. It's a pretty killer system, but it smells like wintergreen. Kind of reminds me of all your, like after you clean your guns, and if you smell them, they smell just like wintergreen. It's pretty weird. There we go. So the antenna would just clip on there, and I might put a little piece of I probably should have just put that wrapped right over those, huh? That would have been a lot smarter, because then these would help hold it on. Well, hell. I might actually tape this a third time. I might do this again. I don't know. Man, 33 minutes, huh? Time flies when you're streaming live. Yeah, you're right. I'll just put another piece on top. Bluegrass. I have, for my small build, I have small antenna. No sense having like 6 inches of antenna poking up off the top of this thing. So if I have my frame with this here, I kind of have this, let's see, I can get it over here, keep it low or something. Pop these on here. I have this here. I'm just trying to look at where these would run. Where's a safe way to run these? And how long they'll be. So the reason I'm looking is I'm gonna put a little dab of that foam tack glue, which is basically, I think it ends up being something like kind of like hot glue, but kind of not. Yeah, so if I run those like that. Anyway, so if I put this here, I'm just looking at what angle I can get these angled a little bit to help them flow out how I want to run the cables. Do that, and they would run up that. Could run right up that. And here's the foam cure, foam tack, whatever. Oh shit, it's oozing. We got an oozer. Stop oozing. Wasting all my damn glue. Alright, I'll be right back. One sec. Broke the first rule of sticky glue. Never open it unless you're ready to clean up. I wasn't ready. I am now though. So what I'm gonna do is run those off to the side like that, and I'm just gonna put one little drop, one little dab of this glue on there. Oh my god, getting shit stuck everywhere. Just to hold these SMA little tiny connectors on there. Because from the factory they have something kind of similar, so I figured I might as well really double up, you know, make it secure. Cool. Some sticky shit. Alright, so I've got those angled sideways, and they're gonna get kind of run up the standoffs of my frame. I'm going to try to stretch this tape really stretch it around, and I can cut it off. Might be just a touch thick, I don't know. I didn't add a ton of thickness to the X4R, but I really don't think those can't go anywhere. kind of gives me a little protection there for some strain relief from these wires for the go to the flight controller. A little bit of just downward pressure on these antenna. Man, that's cool. Good stuff. Extreme tape. So that's where we're at right now. I'm pretty much done for tonight. I'm gonna make some dinner. This is gonna set on here. I don't know if you guys can see those antenna, but it's gonna set down in there. I'm gonna have to get a little bit taller plastic standoff for the flight controller to live on. Those are gonna run up inside this guy. You slide them in here, just like that. So we're getting there. It's obviously not close to being done, but got some pieces together. I need a flight controller, and that's about it. Alright, well, I'll talk to you guys next time.